All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another week of Just a Fan Podcast. I'm your quarter host, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this whole thing, the football mind, as you can see right here, Coach Williams. And then that direction, the defensive minded, the guy who has the worst subtitle ever in Just a Fan Podcast history.
I think it's pretty good.
And Pando 316, right? What's
Hold
up,
on.
man?
I'm sorry, everybody that's watching. Hold on, I gotta do one thing.
He's about to get himself kicked off the show.
All right, so yeah, I'm ready now. Let's go.
You know, I should kick you in the green room.
That'd be the only time a Cowboy can kick a 49er.
You about to really go in the green room with that nonsense.
You gonna just talk to yourself? That's what you gonna do.
Well, that's fine. I got 9 people viewing. Shoot. Anyway. Oh Lord, here we go. We already starting with the nonsense, man. We starting with the nonsense. Anyway, all right.
I'm entertained. But before we get into that, because we know that a lot of people have tuned in to talk about this game that happened Sunday night. We're going to get into that because there's a lot of subheadings that go underneath that from the fallout and the backlash and everything from this game. So we're going to get into that in a minute. However, before we do that, I made a post on TikTok probably about a couple hours before we went on the air. We're talking about one Mr. Bill Belichick, Mr. William Belichick.
You put that up?
Mm-hmm.
When?
About a couple hours ago.
Hold on.
Basically, we're talking about there's been a debate that's been going kind of like a chicken egg debate where we're talking about were the Patriots' success due to Bill Belichick being a genius coach, or was his genius coaching a product of how well Tom Brady played? Because since Tom Brady has been gone, New England has been on a decline. They just lost 2 games in a row by over 30 points. And what is Bill Belichick known for? Being a defensive-minded coach. Also, we want to talk about how terrible Mac Jones is as a quarterback. He's been benched how many times? Not once, but twice.
Quite 2 weeks in a row. And by the way, just real quick, I do see the video. I'm upload that as soon as possible.
Okay, but yeah, we're dealing with that, dealing with Belichick, and that's something, that's a topic for conversation, because right now, New England's not looking too hot. They're probably the worst team in their division. Not probably. They're the worst team in their division.
You know what?
Bills, and you have Miami, and they're contenders. And then, you throw the Jets in there, who kind of not quite crap, but not quite great either. They're still better than the Patriots.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we made those picks, those picks for the AFC East, I think we all agree that New England will probably be the worst team in the division based off of pretty much lack of offensive firepower, because I don't mean to cut you off, but quarterback position, Mac Jones has a limited ceiling. The skill position is not strong. It's led by Juju Smith-Schuster. They got names at tight ends, but those guys haven't done too much since they've been there. Your offensive line is not good. I mean, your offense coordinator is Bill O'Brien, but he hasn't been able to take that team even to another level. So, and like you said, Mac Jones been benched 2 weeks in a row. Last week against Dallas, and then this past weekend. So, but go ahead, finish.
You know how they have the every Thanksgiving they have the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Have you ever
Yes,
seen that?
yes.
And
I think I know where you're going with this.
you know how they made Thanksgiving dinner, they just had like popcorn and
Okay.
like Chico sticks and there was no turkey, there was no dressing, there was no stuff, and that was
Right.
their Thanksgiving
None
dinner.
of the typical stuff.
Yeah, none of your typical traditional Thanksgiving dishes. That's what, and let me be clear, I'm not defending Bill Belichick, but right now the cupboard's pretty damn bare, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes.
You know, you have Ramondre Stevenson, he's a pretty good running back, but you got Kendrick Bourne, who's a solid receiver, but outside of that, your quarterback situation is highly questionable with Mac Jones. I never really cared for him when he was coming out, and thank God my team didn't draft him. But you don't have a lot to work with. And let's be honest, Bill O'Brien is not the greatest play caller. He doesn't dial it. He's better than Matt Patricia was.
Well,
However, he's not the great.
almost anybody should be a better play caller and play designer than Matt Patricia.
Yeah, because Matt Patricia shouldn't have been calling offense anyway. He's a defensive coordinator.
Right.
But the question that lingers is, should the Patriots finish dead last in their division? Should Bill Belichick go ahead and go to the house?
He probably should. He probably won't.
Let me hear your thoughts, fans that are
Fans,
watching.
hey, chat box, let us know what y'all think about Bill Belichick. Look, let me put it this: the man. I know he had Tom Brady. Okay, that was Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, cool. And you had the right players within the system, and that was fine. Okay, you talking about guys who will line up in the slot even before the Wes Walkers. Troy Brown was a slot receiver. Deion Branch was this guy in the slot. Okay, but he never truly invested in offense. Yeah, you traded for Randy Moss, but he was only there for 2.5 years. You had Antonio Brown; he was there for a game. Torrey Holt, tail end of his career. Chad Johnson never picked up on the offense. So, and yeah, you had tight ends, but you never, like I said, invest. You didn't draft running backs, even at the time when running backs was a premium position. You didn't draft them in the first 2 rounds, okay? Because remember, Belichick was coaching when running backs was a premium position versus now.
Which I don't blame him for. I think he was ahead of his game when
And,
it
and,
came.
and it probably was. And it probably was. But, and then you didn't invest in, and you definitely didn't invest in wide receivers. You
No,
definitely did not invest in wide
no.
receivers. You didn't try to draft a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds outside of N'Keal Harry.
And he turned out to be kind of a bust. So
Right, right. And I think you drafted Sony Michel either in the first or second round, and you see how that went. So Belichick just doesn't know offense. He knows defense. Defense will always be somewhere between solid to great, depending on the players and stuff. But offensively, that's it, man. That's it.
yeah, I really think yeah, can you there's a comment down here from yeah, there we go. It's time to retire. He brought the groceries. He's the chef, and it's still all bad. It's better to let a player go a year too early than too late.
Well, and yes, you always want to get rid of a player early versus late. I mean, he's been great at that part as well, but offensively, if you want a a a very good home cooked meal, let's say you at a steakhouse, okay, and you order this prime rib, okay, and you want to cook whatever. Everybody got their own style of how they want their steaks cooked, and you wait for the order to come out. You know what you come up with? Sausage. You just come out with sausage. Nothing. It's not what you ordered. New England's offense is weak.
So you're saying that is not what you ordered.
Right.
It's not the. It's like, hey, I'm gonna grill a porterhouse and I'm gonna
Right.
bake a potato, and you come out with a sausage and some French fries or some tater tots.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. I can go with that. Yeah, that I could actually see where you could go with that. It's really not about it.
He needs somebody to bring in
I'm leaning
that knows offense.
I'm
If it,
leaning towards. Well, first of all, you got to have, well, like Kiara Johnson said in his last comment, you have to buy the correct groceries.
yeah, you do.
If you gonna make if you gonna, like, using your analogy, if we gonna grill a steak, we got to go buy a steak. We got to go to the
Yeah.
butcher shop.
Yeah.
We're going down the potato chip aisle. So first thing first, you got to have the ingredients.
Yes.
Now,
Now, I will say this on
based on who your offensive coordinator is, you got to buy ingredients specific to that particular scheme. You basically got to go out and get the guys.
yes.
But
Now, I will say this: he has well-known names, but what are these guys going to do? Are they going to give you? Are they going to give you steak? Or are they just going to give you?
I think the cup is pretty bare. I don't think. Yeah.
Like I said, it's names. You recognize the names. I mean, if you know, I'm dead serious. Most football fans that is on our level will recognize the names in New England on offense.
Yeah, I mean,
The production doesn't back up the names.
No, we like the football purists who know a lot of people.
Oh, I like this. I like this.
They got spam instead of steak. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Kiara. Yes. Yeah, they got spam instead of steak. It was like, but again, when they brought back Bill O'Brien, it was a step up from having Matt Patricia. But
Yeah,
again,
sure.
Matt Patricia was literally like eating a piece of cardboard, since we're using the food analogy. Okay. And then you bring in Bill O'Brien, that's a spam sandwich, like Kiara said. You know, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to who's the guy at the top. You can talk about your coordinators and you can talk about, this player and that, but Bill Belichick's the guy at the top. And he's earned that, or has he, from being a success all these years in New England. Now, going back to that, talking about Tom Brady. He hasn't been successful since Tom Brady's left. They're not even considered a threat anymore. It used to be when teams saw New England on the schedule, it was like, oh man, we got New England.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man, we got New England next week, man. It's like they're not considered to be a threat anymore.
That's how it is.
So
that's how it is.
So yeah, that's something that bears the question of, was the success in New England a product of TB12, or was it Bill Belichick, or was it a combination of both? I'm leaning toward TB12.
Well, let's go back to even his Cleveland days. He didn't have that much success in Cleveland. Nobody was really thinking about and talking about the Cleveland Browns when he was coaching. I mean, now,
let's be honest, nobody really talks about Cleveland, period.
Well, I understand that, but if you are the coach you're supposed to be, then we should have been talking about Cleveland at the time. Do you see where I'm going?
Okay.
Yeah, so
he was still kind of a fledgling coach. I mean, he had just come out from being a defensive coordinator for the Giants, and
I understand that. But if you are this, okay, Andy Reid, successful in Philadelphia, except for winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
He's no longer in Philadelphia. He goes to Kansas City, even more successful. So we talked about Philadelphia when Andy Reid was coaching.
I see what you're saying. He did enough to build cachet.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna push back just a little bit. Cleveland, like they didn't really give that coaching staff much of. I think what he was in Cleveland for what 2 years, maybe a year.
No, I thought it was longer than that.
No, he wasn't there that long.
Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Give me a second, because I thought it was at least 3 or 4 years. Trying to get there.
Google is your friend. Do 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 do
You
do
are
do
crazy, man.
do do
Let's see. Cleveland Browns. Yeah. 91 through
do.
95.
Okay, so 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a fair assessment. He didn't do much while he was there, and
That's what
uh
I'm saying. Like he
as a head coach,
right. He wasn't it as a head coach. And like you said, as a defensive coordinator, he was fine because he was the one that put together that great game plan in the Super Bowl versus the Buffalo Bills when he invented the 2-4-5 defense.
hey, can you put that other comment up by and by the way,
He-
thank you, Kiara Johnson. Shout out to Kiara Johnson. That's my career brother from Grambling State.
okay, I was wondering who
Uh,
that was. I was like, man, I said this person uh he's definitely commenting, and yeah, we appreciate
can you
that.
put that last comment up? And I vibe with this because he says a combination of both. He says the first couple of rings was won by the defense, so that's Belichick. Okay, because when they beat the Rams, and I want to say that was 0-1, that was Brady's first Super Bowl. It was
So that
more it was more about Brady not screwing the game up and not
it
giving the
was
game
0-1.
away, and the defense just straight manhandling the greatest show on turf because other people was trying to play off of them and play, they were playing off man or they were trying to play a zone and they were just eating that up. Belichick put those corners right in Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce's face. It was like, where you going? Where you going? And then they
Yeah.
put pressure on Kurt Warner,
Yes,
and
it did. Yes, it did. It was just as Bruce tore Holt's face too.
yeah, that's why I
So
said Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. But
okay, I missed that part. It's 5 seasons in Cleveland. His best year was in 94 when his record was 11-5. Everything else is sub 500, 7-9, 7-9, 6-10, 5-11. Not in that order, but I'm just, you know,
I think they want an uptick. So Chiaro's comment actually, that's a very objective and astute observation. Early on, it was built. It was built for their success. And I think later on it became more about Brady as they became more of a prolific offense and
Yeah.
Brady got more comfortable in his role as the leader
Mhm.
of the team. It became more the latter ones were about Brady. The first few ones, that was about New England's defense.
Yeah,
And I'll
those
give them that.
those 3 Super Bowls they won in those 4 years was more so Belichick in that defense.
Yes.
Um,
So there's still people that are discussing. It's like, okay, is Bill Belichick done? Uh, it depends on what Kraft wants to do.
well, let me put it this way: if Belichick can convince Kraft to stay another year and try to do something better to upgrade the offense, because if he upgrades the offense, New England can probably be a threat again because Belichick will always have a good game plan versus um, any team in the league. He will have a good game plan, but he needs firepower to either keep up with all these other offenses like Miami in this division, or he needs to have the firepower to outscore the other team. So that way he can
Well, that's not
make them
happening.
one dimensional.
That's not going to happen with Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. It's not.
Hey,
He's got to go find him a quarterback.
and that's why I said he needs to try to if his job is on the hot seat this off season, he needs to convince Robert Kraft that hey, I'm gonna upgrade his offense, and that means all the way around. If he needs to get rid of Bill O'Brien, do so. If you need to get rid of Mac Jones, do so, and then bring in some weapons. You need once you get your quarterback in, you need your play caller, You need your pass protection, and you need your playmakers. It's not
Okay. Yeah, so that the Belichick thing, we're gonna see how this plays out. I think, but I think to close this segment out, I think it's pretty fair to say that he's on the hot seat for how New England has performed. Without question, there's got to be some at least a seat warmer getting turned on. You know, some of those little packs that you had to keep your hands warm. I think
yeah,
he's sitting on a couple. He's sitting on a couple of them because
yeah.
this is honestly it's out of character. It's very out of character for Bill Belichick. So moving on, there was a football game played this past Sunday on national TV, and it was played by the 49ers of San Francisco against the Cowboys of Dallas. I predicted the 49ers to win that game, but I was completely wrong about what I thought that game was going to look like. I predicted the Niners to win by a one-score game. You go back and look at our show last week. You know, I said, yeah, in fact, it was one of my pick'em games. And for those of y'all who just joined the show, and for those of y'all who just started watching us, a pick'em game means basically it could go either way.
Right.
It really could go either way. And that was my pick'em game for the week. Sometimes I have one, sometimes I have two, but this is the pick'em game. The 49ers proceeded to go in to their stadium and play the Cowboys and psychologically and physically decimate the Dallas Cowboys. They basically, it was like a boxing match in a phone booth. Toward the second half, I mean, the game stopped every other play for a Cowboy to tap out and get out the game. They were picking up Cowboys off the turf. I wasn't ready for it, honestly, because y'all know how I feel about Kyle Shanahan. I think he kind of, his history has been, I can design some great plays, I can make some great play calls, and then every now and then I'm gonna do something really dumb. But honestly, this time, Kyle Shanahan was masterful with his play calling. Trey Lance was in Dallas. He's giving them all the information to, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, and Kyle Shanahan like, okay, bet that's what he know. I'm about to change all of this, including a play that went to George Kittle that they saw on TV earlier that day. Detroit ran it earlier that day, and it was like, okay, we're gonna run that. I mean, literally, there was nothing that Dallas could do with San Francisco's offense. The only time San Francisco's offense stalled out is because of penalties that they committed on their own, like false starts and holding and stuff like that.
Offsides and face mask.
Right, stuff like no. I'm not talking about the penalties that Dallas committed. I'm talking about the penalties that San Francisco committed.
Okay.
Like basically, had it not been for those penalties, San Francisco would have scored every drive, and there was nothing, absolutely nothing Dallas could do. I was not expecting that. Was I expecting? If you had told me that San Fran was going to win this game 42-10, I'd call you crazy. I'd call you insane. In fact, I told some of my fellow 49er fans, I'm like, nope, Dallas is a good team. It's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be a close contested game. It's going to be 24-21. It's going to be 17-14, something like that. That's what my mindset was. And I'm telling you, this is one of them times where I was just flat out wrong. San Francisco's defense had not played a complete game of football the entire season, those first four games. They either start off really hot in the first quarter and then cool off in the first half, and then cool off in the second half. Or they would start off slow and then just catch on fire in the second half. This time, San Francisco's defense was lights out the entire game. This is the first game they played all year where the defense was completely lights out. I was like, Yeah, yes, Kiara. They attacked Micah. Micah Parsons had 3 tackles and 2 pressures. That is below mediocre. And that's the best player on their defense. The best. Had Trayvon Diggs played, because I'm not trying to hit it. Trayvon, well, we lost because of Trayvon Diggs. No, shut up. I ain't trying to hit it. If Trayvon Diggs had played, the score might have been 35-10 instead of 42-10. Okay, that's about the biggest difference. Okay, so let's stop that. Okay, Brock Purdy, which we'll get into talking about Brock Purdy in a minute, because he's looking like a MVP candidate at this particular point. But the one thing that I did see that I kind of expected was Dak Prescott turning over the ball at least twice. I think everybody expected that. I think everybody, hey Steve, how you doing? Welcome.
Pretty good. Appreciate it. Thank you. How you guys doing? Y'all straight?
Oh, I'm just capital.
What's up, Steve, man?
Hey, Junior.
What's going on? Say hey, guys.
Hi guys, what are you doing, guys?
Talking football,
What's up,
man.
June?
But I digress. It's like it wasn't even close. And I was shocked at that.
I was shocked too.
I gave a lot of credit to Dallas. I gave more credit than they probably deserved. I realized that after this guy. I'm like, my God. Because I was watching it when I was talking with one of my buddies. He's also a Niner fan. We were talking via Marco Polo. And it was, oh my God, are we really doing this to them? Are we? Jeez, oh my God, this is too easy.
Well, I knew we were gonna lose. I didn't think it would look quite like that.
I didn't either.
Seeing the tone in the first quarter, I didn't even make it to halftime. I just knew how it would play out, and I knew for a fact, underprepared and not being focused leading up to game day, because it's been all talk. It's been and not enough coaching, and setting the tone the entire week. And that's just what we've been. And we get outcoached by the Niners for the past 3 years in a row.
Yeah, that had a lot to do with it. They were just flat out outcoached. Like, for example, I'll give an example. And I'm really shocked at Dan Quinn. Hey, Titus. I'm really shocked at Dan Quinn because he's a masterful defensive coordinator. And everybody knows the Achilles heel of San Francisco's offensive line is the right tackle. And there were very, very few snaps that Micah Parsons lined up on the right side, the offensive right.
But I think this is the thing, man. They said it on TV today, man. I think the non-belief in Dak and McCarthy, because when McCarthy believes in Dak so much, the defense sees it, and they're like, dude, let's get real. So McCarthy's belief in Dak, I mean, it deflates a team. And that's not even counting all the 3 and outs from the defense just being tired, having to come on the field right after that. I mean, we have backup, sure, but like defense is tired, man. They're tired, man. And it's like, it's deflating when Dak, because eventually, I'm gonna say it like this, eventually Dak's gonna have to be the guy to put the team on his back. That's what quarterbacks are supposed to do. And when he's called to do that, he can't do it. He cannot do that. We get short fields because of turnovers, great. But when the team protects the ball and can actually move the ball and don't turn it over, it's going to come to shootouts, especially in the postseason.
And that can't keep up with it.
And he can't
Exactly.
Because he gets to press it and he starts making really dumb decisions.
It's that black and white. He just can't do that. He can't be the guy to be like, you know what? I'm outperform his guy.
Yeah, this part right here.
Because
this part right here, and I'm gonna say it too. The games, there are games coming up between now, these last 12 games. The Chargers, and I'm gonna throw the Rams in there too, because the Rams have surprised me.
Yeah, they're better than I thought they'd be.
Philadelphia twice. We play Detroit and we play Miami. Those 6 games, Dak is gonna have to show something. And if he doesn't, I don't see how you can continue to bring this guy back over and over again.
When you throw the salary in there too, it's like, what are we paying you for?
Well, I was like, listen, y'all know me. Before the season started, I say, listen, if we do well, great. If we don't do well, McCarthy has to go, man. He's setting that tone. He's setting that tone, man. So I'm
He
like, listen,
really is.
it's gonna be Dak has gotten worse ever since, and you called it, Brandon, ever since we lost John Kitna as a QB coach.
Yeah.
Um,
John. When people were laughing at Dak for quote unquote dancing, he wasn't dancing. He was working on his mechanics for a quarterback.
yeah,
John. That was John Kitna having him do that stuff.
Dude. Listen,
And I don't think Dak really honed in on continuing to work his mechanics, and he probably didn't stay too much in contact well enough with John Kitna to make sure that he continued to progress as a quarterback, even though he wasn't there.
Exactly. And then he got paid, which is just a really bad combination, man.
Yeah, a lot of people tend to. One or two things happens when guys get big contracts. They're gonna either decline because they feel like they've made it, or they're gonna grind even harder. And more often, it's the latter, the former, not the latter. Excuse me. It is, but if you'd have told me Dak's gonna turn the ball over in this sometime in this game on Sunday, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that bet. 3, I wasn't ready for 3.
I could have seen 3. I could have seen 3. I didn't see the 32-point blowout. I definitely saw a loss by several possessions and Dak turning the ball over. I saw that. I mean, yeah. I said it. Yeah, I mean,
we saw it a lot. Like I think we all picked that San Fran was going to beat Dallas. But again, I'm thinking a 1-score game, real tight game, and let's be honest, Dallas defense got exposed the same way they got exposed against Arizona. Dallas defense lacks the ability to play physical. If another team comes in and gets in your face and bust you in the mouth, Dallas, you don't respond well. And the first 2 series, the first offensive series for San Francisco and the first defensive series, San Francisco was like, we here to fight. And they weren't there to fight. They like, oh my God, they swinging real punches.
The last time the Cowboys had, go ahead.
No, I think this is the thing. I think they were physical, but knowing what Dak is going to do, it's just like that motivation just goes away, man. Like, I think it's all right. We're fighting our butts off. Okay, we get a punt. We know he's going to screw it up. I think the defense knows what they have and what they can be, and they know as a team that we're limited because of the offense and Dak's performance and Mike McCarthy's play calling, especially in the red zone. We didn't even see the red zone. No, we had one play. Turpin got through. I don't even think we're in the red zone then.
And here's the thing. No, it wasn't a red zone play. And here's the thing. Dallas didn't register a first down until the second quarter. They played 15 minutes of football and did not get a first down. Like, yeah. I mean, like what? Really? But like the whole week there was discussion, and I'm going to get into talking about talking and not doing in a second. Segueing into that. The whole week there was discussion on the Dallas side about playing San Francisco. That it was that whole thing, and it was like you didn't hear a peep out of Santa Clara, and it was like, okay,
oh yeah,
and Dallas played a different role this time. They played a different role this time. They were like, well, yeah, the 49ers are good, and they're contenders, and they were showing all this love and trying to act like they were showing respect and everything. And San Fran was just sitting back there like, yo, man, just wait till Sunday. And that's literally what it was. But then, as I segue into the next thing, you got Mr. Mouth, Micah Parsons, who, because I'm finna light into him because I know I'm not wrong because there are a lot of media pundits that are on his tail right now. Okay. Fine. You got a podcast, which I don't agree. If you're an active player, you shouldn't have a podcast. Even when Tom Brady had his podcast before he retired, I'm like, dude, you're an active player. You should be focusing on the game. But that's the GOAT. So I give him a little leeway with it. But you're a 24-year-old third-year player in the league. And you got a podcast that you have every Monday when you maybe, just maybe, you need to be looking at film. So after the game, Michael Parsons is at his locker and he's saying, well, I don't think the 49ers on a level above us right now. I think we just got a couple of things we need to fix. And man, stop. 42 points says that you are not on the level of San Francisco.
But you know why he's saying that. Who was leading that narrative in the locker room, man? This guy,
The owner?
Who?
Who?
Me and you've been teaching for years. You longer than me. We have students older than him. This boy is 23, 24?
Right.
He's being led directly by Mike McCarthy to take no accountability and to not be quiet.
And that's the problem in Dallas.
The
There's no accountability. And here's the thing, and even Skip Bayless, and everybody knows Skip Bayless is one of the greatest Cowboy apologists ever. He was on Micah Parsons' tail about that. He's like, you're supposed to be the leader of this defense. You are the best player. You are the best player on that defense. You're supposed to set a tone and lead by that.
Yeah.
The correct answer when they asked about it, should have been like, you know what? We did not play our best today. And we got to do better. Thank you.
Hey,
that's the end of it.
Let me answer this question real quick. Eric James, basically it's just what I said and what Steve and I were just talking about. When John Kitna was the quarterback's coach for Dak, that was one of his best years, probably his best year ever. And his mechanics were on point. I know people were laughing about saying Dak was working on his mechanics when he was doing all that hip thrust and stuff. When he needs a quarterback's coach that's going to make sure that he has his mechanics on point, he has his reads on point, and everything, and his footwork on point. Everything that a quarterback needs. And look, every quarterback that's drafted needs it, just to be fine-tuned or whatever. But Dak definitely needs it. And when, like I said, when John Kitna left and took a high school coaching job, became head coach, that was it.
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to also, the head coach, but it comes from Jerry Jones bringing a guy, and that's been our problem, bringing a guy in that's no nonsense, that's going to change the culture, because we could bring John Kitna back, but there will still be some leaks in the locker room that are going to let players feel like it's not their fault, they do anything wrong, just a bad day. That comes from the top, and the culture is just messed up there, man. That's just what we have the talent. We draft well, we give good contracts, decent contracts, but that lack of accountability, man, from Jerry Jones and the head coach is a poison, man. That's just what it's gonna be.
It's got to be better. But again, going back to the lack of accountability, Micah Parsons, I'm going to get back on this because I'm not through with him by a damn sight, because he keeps opening mouth and applying foot. He keeps putting both feet in his mouth. So after the fact, he's on his podcast and he says, because he's mad about George Kittle wearing a T-shirt that says F Dallas after his third touchdown. Let me tell you something. If you feel pressed about that, you should have stopped him. Bottom line. Don't say, oh, now it's personal. Now it's personal? They just put 42 points on you. It's personal now because of a T-shirt? Really? Bruh, you need to grow up and be more mature. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Because we got something for him. Please trust. Why you didn't have something for him Sunday night, Micah?
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like, dude, just look, put down the salt because you salty, you butthurt, you got drove. You did not show up on the stat sheet of any significance. You did nothing to stop this team from embarrassing you on national television. But you got time to get on a podcast to talk about, oh, it's personal now. You know how stupid you sound? 42 points says that you don't have nothing to say. And guess what? A lot of people probably looking at this Niners jersey I'm wearing, and they probably saying, oh, you just saying it because you're a Niners fan. Let me tell you something. If we lose 42-10 and Deebo Samuel or somebody like that is in the media talking all this trash about everything, I'm going to be the same way. Man, you need to shut up. You have lost to this team 3 times in a row and did nothing in those 3 losses. But you got time to run your mouth reckless instead of showing and proving. And I'm to quote a famous Dallas Cowboys coach, Mr. Jimmy Johnson, back when Dallas was really, really good, back when they were winning Super Bowls. If you gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. Micah Parsons, you in a wheelchair.
Well, I said this last season when they announced he's going to have his this podcast where every Monday and Tuesday he whatever. I was like, that's a bad idea. But again, some head coaches shut that crap down.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
We're talking 23, 24. I mean, we people that want us to be our kids. We know the generation, no disrespect, but the generation a little wild when it comes to you give them freedom, they're gonna go crazy in certain areas, man. And
Absolutely.
certain head coaches shut that stuff down.
Man, Jimmy Johnson would not have allowed that, and Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells would not allow that either.
I don't even think Switzer would have allowed that.
No, definitely Jimmy Johnson. He wouldn't have had it. No, sir, you would not have a podcast right now.
When you have the time to devote an hour, 2 hours a week,
that's an hour of film
game day to a podcast. It's like
that's an hour of film study.
That's like, yo, your priorities, and I said this on this podcast. That's not a good look. Your priorities are not in order. You're making plenty of money. When you get your extension, you're gonna make a boatload more. Nah, man. But
and to be fair, let me be fair. I think Micah Parsons is a phenomenal player. I said that on the TikTok post I made. I think he's a phenomenal player. Imagine how much more phenomenal he could be if he spent more time preparing for the opponent instead of talking about the opponent. Just imagine. But right now, he doesn't get that respect because all he does is this and then looks dumb afterwards. Because beforehand, he was talking noise about the Niners, especially that playoff game his rookie year. I'm from Harrisburg, PA, where we bullied the bullies and then got pimp slapped by Deebo Samuel en route to a touchdown. Like, really? And that's the thing. Deebo clapped back. He was like, son, you need to be quiet because it could have been much worse, which he's right because basically they pulled the starters in the fourth quarter. If Shanahan would have left the starters out there, they'd have put a 50-piece on Dallas.
Absolutely. We can just sum it up, man. It's straight up out coaching. I mean, not just have a better roster too. Don't get me wrong, but the Cowboys, as the Cowboys fan could say, we were in the season where Green Bay was our kryptonite. Now it's San Fran. Now San Fran's time to be a kryptonite, man. We're in that season, and going off a few nights ago, I didn't see any silver lining besides McCarthy getting fired at the end of the season.
That's going to be what needs to probably happen because now everything, and that's a great segue, Steve. By the way, the what's going on is happening at the top. You said it before on previous shows. Mike McCarthy has taken everything on his back now to play calling. They fired Kellen Moore.
Oh yeah.
So now it's all on you, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
So if there are failures with this offense, if there's failures with Dak Prescott, it's all on you now. You can't. Your scapegoat is gone.
Marty Schottenheimer is. I mean, not Marty Schottenheimer. Excuse me, Brian Schottenheimer. Rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer is the play designer. And he definitely helps out a whole lot as far as weekly game preparation. But as far as play calling, yes, it is on Mike McCarthy.
And this is my last thing on this. So last season, I was like, yo, we absolutely have to win as many games as possible, especially against the Eagles in the regular season, because we need their path in the NFC. We need their path in the playoffs. So you can play around and say, oh, it was back up. No, it was a desperate win because we didn't win. And look at the Eagles' path to the NFC Championship game, not even Super Bowl, to the NFC Championship game. They had the Giants and the Vikings. It was so important last year for us to really, and we were in position to grab that bye. I mean, we desperately needed to get that because the year before last, we lost to the Niners. We needed the easiest path last year to get there. We couldn't do it. It's going to be even more difficult this year. I'm even saying to even get a berth because we've been exposed. We got, like you said, Brandon, we got the Chargers coming up. We got some high-power offenses we got to see soon. They have good defenses too.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, Steve, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about offenses facing Dallas. Okay, I'm going to see if y'all remember that Miller High Life commercial where you had the two beer guys delivering the beers. You had the really big dude and you had the little skinny dude. And I never forget, I laughed my tail off watching that commercial. He said, because you can run fast, but I can knock you down. Those type of offenses is what Dallas is going to struggle with. When they lost to the Cardinals ran up and punched them in the face. Now, if you playing Ferrari against Porsche, no pun intended, honey. Hey, how you doing if you're watching? But Ferrari against Lamborghini, Ferrari against Porsche. Okay, Dallas is probably that Lamborghini. Okay, but when you trying to have a truck and tractor pull, and you in a Lamborghini, and this guy's got an F-350 with a Hemi in it, that's what Dallas struggles. The big physical teams, the teams that play with the most physicality, is what Dallas struggles against.
Dallas
Speed,
has
Dallas got that.
Dallas hasn't had a true physical team since the Jimmy Johnson era.
No, they
Dallas-
lack physicality.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. I'll say Dallas is a Lambo. We're going against Bugattis, which isn't as popular name for young folks. But yeah, in this race that can't be won right now with what we have.
Yeah, so but the blueprint has been laid out by Arizona and by San Francisco. And if your team is a physical team, then you got a pretty damn good shot against Dallas.
And that's the thing.
This is something that this is the thing. This is not something Dallas can fix in a couple of weeks. This is something that has to be laid out in training camp.
And yeah,
This is who
exactly.
we are.
When you lose to Arizona like that, I could see if we were undefeated, maybe took a loss to maybe the Eagles or somebody good going into playing y'all. But like, dude, we lost to Arizona. And they're not. I mean, they're better than us because they clearly beat us. But dude, you lose that game. The San Fran game. I knew wasn't happening. For us, man. All right, I'm done.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So as we segue into that, let's talk about the other side of the ball and talk about what's going on in San Francisco. Brock Purdy, right now, if anybody disagrees with this, they're just not paying attention. Brock Purdy is an MVP candidate. You cannot deny his ability right now. Everybody is discounting him because he's Mr. Irrelevant. But if you look at these numbers, Brock Purdy is second in completion percentage, only to Tua Tagovailoa, and they both run the same offense. Then people will say, "Well, he's got great completion percentage because he dinks and dunks." No, sir. Guess who is second in the league in yards per attempt average? Brock Purdy. His yards per attempt are top 3 in the league, top 2 in the league. Who's number 1 in QBR? Brock Purdy. I mean, people are constantly discounting this man. Had Brock Purdy been, had he been drafted in the first round, then yeah, they'd be saying, "Oh, he's an MVP candidate." But these numbers do not lie. He has never lost a game that he started and finished. And right now, each week, and I check the numbers, he's improving each week. Like, he's getting better. He came back from that UCL injury, and that was my concern. Y'all know from previous shows, that was my concern. I was like, hey, man, I don't know. Is he going to come back from that? Because a lot of guys, they either come back really strong or they come back and it's like they're done. But we really have to consider Brock Purdy as an MVP candidate until he shows us otherwise. Thoughts?
Well, he is. I mean, he's earned it, and I'll explain my thoughts when we do the power rankings later. But go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Purdy definitely would have been a quarterback drafted by former NFL and current Hall of Fame head coach Bill Parcells. He fits the criteria of quarterback he would have wanted out of college as a 3-year starter or more.
Yeah, really three and some change. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he was a senior now. I don't know if I'm assuming he graduated from college. He started at least 30 games, winning at least 23, which he completed that. He definitely had a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and he definitely had better than 60% completion percentage. Brock Purdy was pretty much a ready-made quarterback coming out of college. And looked like he should have been drafted higher than round 7.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That goes to show you that teams continue to struggle with evaluating quarterbacks coming out of college.
Yes.
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 Because
Because they reach for some guys.
Because now you're going to start as long as Brock Purdy wins, and if he gets a ring or two, everyone's going to always go back and look at that draft class and say, okay, which quarterbacks was drafted ahead of him, just like Tom Brady. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have as many rings as Tom Brady, but they're going to go back and look at that draft class and say, okay, which quarterback was drafted ahead of him?
No, well, not just that. And again, I went to Iowa State game a few days ago.
Right.
Okay. He was 2-time first all Big 12, which means 2 years in a row he's the best quarterback in the Big 12. They got some schools in there,
which is saying a lot because the Big 12 is.
They got some schools in there.
Yes,
it's all offense.
They got some. Listen, man, exactly, and that's
it is all offense.
It's all offense in the Big 12. So yeah, that's saying a lot.
Yes,
they have some schools in there, man, and it's like. And they have some decent defenses too, but yeah, the mainly offense is like, dude, this dude is not this. He didn't come from like no shit. He didn't come from like Hofstra or like,
Slippery Rock University.
Yeah, Slippery Rock or
Mercer.
Towson. No shade, but like this dude played big time football consistently.
Ooh.
And he's shown his behind now. I mean, he didn't have top tier receivers there. He had Breece Hall, good running back.
He and Breece Hall on the same team.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man, he balled behind off. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and here's the thing. This is something else I want to address about Brock Purdy, because the naysayers that want to say this. Well, he's a system quarterback. Okay, watch this. Yes, but you have to be good to run the system. You can't just find Joe Blow off the street and the system work. He is definitely he's definitely a system quarterback, but you have to be great to run the system.
And not just that.
I like to remind everybody that Jimmy Garoppolo was in his system, and there's a reason why Jimmy Garoppolo is no longer in San Francisco, because he wasn't good in the system.
Listen, and in college, he's in a good system, such a good system that the coaches from Iowa State staff elevate quickly. Matt Campbell, 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year in a 4-year span. He comes from a good crop of football. So Purdy's decorated, man, but people didn't look at that. They saw Iowa State. Oh, it's not a big fancy name, but if you look at his awards, the head coach he's under, the staff, it's legit.
It is legit. And I was looking at some of the quarterbacks that came out in that draft class, and I'm like, you guys got some catching up to do. Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett. I got some work to do.
Because right now, he is probably
the cream of the crop of that draft class.
No, he's definitely cream of crop of that class, but he's also, putting his stake in. He's putting his flag down as probably one of the best quarterbacks in this league right now. And
he hasn't lost a game yet. Not to jinx him, but he's done nothing but win. I mean, you have to, when we do power range, I'll explain that later. But I mean, he just balls, man. That's just what it is.
Hey, Eric, he's steak and not spam.
Yes, he's definitely steak. He's a porterhouse. And the thing is like, remember I sent you that film where they broke down
I saw that.
The throws he made in this Dallas game. The issue that Kyle Shanahan has always had with his quarterbacks before Brock Purdy is the ability to layer passes over the linebackers and in front of the safeties the way Brock Purdy does masterfully.
And
that was a throw he made to Brandon Ayuk it was a tight window throw that was like maybe 6 inches past Leighton Vander Esch's hands into Brandon Ayuk in stride.
And
Had Stephon Gilmore not clipped the back of Brandon Ayuk's heels and made him fall, that was another touchdown.
so he's one of those guys I don't like playing against. It's like him. I'm trying to think who else. I think it was Aaron Rodgers and one other, not even a big name, where you're watching the game and you're like, yo, he's not making a bad throw today. Like you hope, like, okay, he messed up. He had an error. I'm like, yo, this dude's on point. That's why I couldn't make it to halftime. I said, you know what? Nah, it's done. It's done.
I turned off the game early.
I'll see the final score tomorrow. This is done. I'm doing something else right now.
He had a game against Arizona where he had a 95% completion percentage. And the crazy thing is I think this game against Dallas was probably his best game so far, even though he was only 70%. Because, again, still trying to give Dallas some credit. Dallas is, everybody's saying that this is a historic defense. This is supposed to be a great defense. So it's like he's doing this against a really good defense. And he was out there, and like the only thing that he missed one throw in that game. The other ones, got knocked down by defensive linemen or whatever.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I definitely know 2 of them got knocked down by Jonathan Hankins.
But everything that he threw was on the money. His accuracy, and that's the thing, he plays within his own ability. He recognizes that he doesn't have the strongest arm. He recognizes that he's not the most athletic. He just plays within himself. And, not to throw shade again at Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott refuses to do that. Dak Prescott feels like he's got an arm like Superman. And I'm going to just put it in there. No, you're not. And I don't care who's on defense. I'm gonna put this in here. Fred Warner's right there, man. What are you doing?
Fred Warner was all over the field. What are you talking about? I felt like Fred Warner covered every blade of grass, every inch of that football field he covered.
When he ran, now he was beaten. He was beaten with that red route, that 9 route to Brandon Cooks. But the fact that he was right there on his heel, this is a linebacker chasing one of the fastest receivers in the league.
But see, that's the thing. Even though he was beaten by Brandon Cooks, it wasn't like he was completely toasted by Brandon Cooks. He's only like 2 or 3 yards behind him.
That's my point.
And I was like,
Warner,
you're 2 or 3 yards behind Cooks?
Hands down, Warner.
That's why going back to, and Steve, and that's why going back to last year in the playoffs, when they kept lining up CeeDee Lamb in the slot, that was a huge mistake because Warner was running, because CeeDee Lamb was not a burner.
Warner literally played slot corner for a few plays in that last year's game.
Warner was able to run stride for CeeDee Lamb anywhere
Listen,
he went.
Don't get me started on Cooks ran free a few times. That's why it takes a different kind of quarterback. Dak looked like a tier 4 quarterback against San Francisco. And yes, they have a great defense.
He saw ghosts, and I think Fred Warner was the biggest ghost that stood out.
Hey man, we was watching the game making up. Do you remember Nightmare on Elm Street, the little girl singing the song? 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
There you go.
Yeah. 3,
the thing is,
4,
Dak,
watch out for 54. Yeah. He's a menace. And honestly, if he continues on this trajectory, he could be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. We talking about Nick Bosa, and we talking about Micah Parsons, and we're talking about TJ Watt. But Jesus, watch Fred Warner play.
Fred Warner was just all over the field. I was like,
and the thing is, even in that matchup, when he tried to hit CD, someone else was open. But it takes a true QB vision to recognize that.
And he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it, man. I'm really ready
to move on from that.
Move on from him and McCarthy, man. I could easily say McCarthy, but Dak is so set in his ways at this age. It's like it's gonna be
old dog, new tricks.
That's what I was gonna say. It is so hard to do that at this point.
Yeah,
especially when you got that money.
So here's the thing, and everybody's talking about Trey Lance and everything. Like Trey Lance is the number 3 in Dallas. Like everybody's taking a giant dump on Cooper Rush. Like, dude, Cooper Rush is the next man up.
Trey Lance, and I got nothing against Trey Lance. I still think Trey Lance Right. He's still a project. He still needs true quarterback development because, like I said, in high school, he was in Steve's favorite offense, the wing T offense.
Man, don't come on, stop that.
Hey, look, man, we know you love the wing T offense, man. That's fine.
For the record, I hate it more than a lot of things.
We
Almost
used to run
everything on
we
earth.
used to run the wing T offense back in Eddie Robinson days at Grambling State University, but
And
it
then,
was highly effective.
what you call it?
Eric, it's worse when you see both
in college.
teams
In college, he only played like 19 games. He needs true quarterback development. So
I don't disagree with that at all.
he's a
development.
complete project.
He's raw, but he
Yes.
has great attributes, but he needs coaching.
Yes,
he
he really
needs
does.
time. He needs
really
reps.
does.
Thank God he cut his hair, but because what he had going on before, I don't know what that was, but he got him a fade. Now he look, hey, good job, Trey. But he needs development. So
I said that he needs the right people because this is my thing. Okay, as far as Dak and Cooper Rush is a very efficient QB. He's not
smart.
athletic. He's not as fast as Dak. May not be as strong. May not be able to throw it as far, but he makes better decisions than Dak.
He really does. No, he's smart. Matter of fact, I heard that when it comes to football intelligence for the quarterback position, he's right on line with Kellen Moore.
Exactly. Physical attributes, you can improve that. I want someone to develop Trey Lance to that point. I mean, and Dallas is so shady, man. The writing's on the wall. I know Jerry Jones always ups Dak, but you have to know he gonna cut Dak as soon as he freaking can. If you know the Cowboys organization,
he's got to. If
and Mike are out of there as soon as there's some kind of flexibility to do so.
It's the right. If they fail, let's say, because Dallas still make the playoffs. Let's be real. They may be a lower seed, but they'll still make the playoffs. If they get to the playoffs and they fail, like Jerry Jones is gonna pull a trigger. He wants to try to get to a Super Bowl before he dies, and he's as old.
I've been saying that since the beginning of this podcast ever started.
He's 2 days older than Black Pepper. Okay, so he wants to get to a Super Bowl before he dies.
Yes,
he will get rid of coaches.
He wants to win one.
And Dak Prescott is the Cowboys nation. Let's just be real. Dak Prescott is a major part of your problem at this point. He's getting outplayed by a second-year quarterback.
Everyone's performing. Everyone on the entire offense is performing at a high level, except for number 4. Not just even the offense, the entire team. Everyone is playing their butts off.
CeeDee Lamb complained about the offense. Yesterday he really did,
and that's like indirect shade at his head coach.
It really is. It really is.
And here's the intangible side of it. Why I feel like Dallas is just not, because it's easy to get in the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs. But had we gone with the old rule with 6 seeds, Dallas may not make the playoffs because the climate in that locker room right now is not good because they don't believe in their quarterback and they don't believe in their coach.
It's festering, man.
They don't believe in that offense.
I haven't had this low amount of confidence in my team probably since Bledsoe and Testaverde, to be completely honest, man. How we've been playing, I'm not confident that we can beat a lot of teams that on paper we're better than, man. I mean, we got some losses ahead of us, man. Which, again, if that's what it takes for McCarthy to be gone, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that.
But that's the reason why it's a culture thing in the locker room now. And until you fix that culture, you're not going to compete for a Super Bowl. And right now, you're starting to get passed up by other teams, and it's not good. It's not good. And Dak Prescott right now, is the between Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, those are your main reasons why the team is failing. Because again, had Dallas lost this game 24-17 or something like that, okay, hey, we took a lump. It's okay. we're gonna keep on pushing. But this type of just evisceration,
He's losing by 32 points.
man, look here. If you want to, like Ric Flair said, if you want to beat a man, you gotta beat the man. Woo! Right now, before that game was played, San Francisco was number one in everybody's power poll or power poll or whatever you want to call it. And if Dallas wants to stake the claim on being the best team, you gotta at least pinch the bit. I mean, you gotta do something. That was not a good outing. Losing the game ain't the problem. It's how they lost. That's the issue. It would have been no shame if they lost by a score. Hey man, you get them next time. But let's be real. Do y'all really feel like if Dallas was to meet San Francisco in the playoffs, everybody's healthy? Everybody from this past Sunday's game is healthy. Do y'all really believe that Dallas can beat San Francisco?
So did you see that interview that Marshawn had with in Uncle Shay Shay's room about Russell Wilson?
No.
And he was like, man, when he threw that interception in the Super Bowl, he said, man, we go to the sideline.
And he was laughing at Pete Carroll. Yeah, I think I saw that.
He was like, oh man, we'll get him next time. This is where he said this is what Russell said out of his mouth.
We'll get him next time.
I feel like Dak is that kind of guy to be like that.
And you know what? And
Marshawn laughed in Pete Carroll's face.
Sure did.
I feel like that's how Dak is. Stand up guy, but
and you know what?
Ain't the one to take us to where we need to go.
That's why real quick in Denver, we're going to touch on this for a few minutes before we go to top 5. I think Russell Wilson is the problem in Denver and not Sean Payton. Sean Payton going to get rid of Russell Wilson at some point and bring in a quarterback that he wants.
I can see that, but not to get. I can see what you're saying, Brandon. You're absolutely right. But one thing before we leave this Cowboys Niners thing alone, the fallout from this, I feel like it could go either way for Dallas. Right now, is not looking too hot.
I agree.
They completely collapse. For the 49ers, it could go two ways. They could build on this, or they could get hubris and lose some games to some teams that they're not supposed to lose to. It depends on the culture of the building.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And right now, Dallas does not have a good culture. San Fran, but because I'm not finna sit up here and act like my team is all that. Yes, we number one. We consider to be the best team in the league right now, but that could change real fast if the mindset is not right in that building.
You guys need to keep that. You guys need to keep a mindset of handling business because
1-0 every week.
I don't see too many teams right now better than y'all. The closest team might be Miami.
And the staff came from San Francisco. It's like Mike McDaniels is Kyle Shanahan with more swagger.
Southeast, baby. Southeast. San Francisco,
Southeast. That's San Francisco Southeast. Like the way they play, everything that they do is exactly like San Francisco. So talking about power rankings, we started a new thing that we're going to do. It's going to be every year. We're going to do the fellas top 5 after week 5. And these are our top 5 teams that we feel like are the best 5 teams in the league, regardless of conference.
Do you have Tristan's?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you do his first?
Yeah, I'll do Tristan's first. But this is basically, in this segment, we basically talk about, now Tristan's not here to defend his answers, but the 3 of us will be able to defend our top 5. So for Tristan, for number 5, he has the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
For number 4, he has the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
For number 3, he has the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
For number 2, he has the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
And for number 1, he has the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Tristan, y'all gonna have to ask Tristan on our web page, like, why did he say this or whatever? Because I'm gonna post all of these later. But we could talk about it on Facebook. So Brandon, Steve, y'all want to go? I'll go last.
So I like his list. I don't agree with the Eagles being higher than the Bills solely based off of, well, not solely, I guess, a few things. How they play Washington, each team. I get the division thing with the Eagles and all that, but the Eagles had way tougher time than Buffalo did. I think Buffalo is more equipped. I feel like The Eagles haven't. I think the only tough team they played, I guess when record team they played has been the Rams. That's my only discrepancy with Tristan's rankings. I know he'll tell me about it later, but that's all I got for his list.
Okay.
Okay, so Steve, go ahead.
Brandon, your turn.
Okay. Number 5. I know this is gonna probably shock you, but I got Detroit number 5. This is a team that can score points. They scored 42 points this past week without their top receiver and their number 1 draft pick in the first round this past season. That's a very physical team. Dan Campbell got them going in the right direction. At the beginning of the season, I had Detroit as the 4th best team in the NFC. And right now for me, they bump up to number 3 in the NFC, but number 5 in the NFL. That's where I have Detroit. Now my only problem with Detroit is moving forward is they lost 2 very critical DBs in the secondary. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's a safety / corner, and Emmanuel Mosley, who's an outside corner. Losing those 2 guys hurts a whole lot.
Okay.
But Aiden Hutchinson, people talk about ball hawk safeties. Man, Aiden Hutchinson is a ball hawk defensive end. He gets after quarterbacks and he intercepts footballs. So
yeah,
I ain't never seen a ball hawk defensive end. We seen JJ Watt knock a lot of passes down at the line of scrimmage, but as far as ball hawking, Aiden Hutchinson's the man.
Aiden Hutchinson has
Yeah.
basically plays with bad intentions, but
Yes.
keep going.
Okay. Number 4. I have I guess I can go I go with Philadelphia number 4.
Man.
Huh?
I thought you wrote these down.
Negative. I got Philadelphia number 4. And the reason why I got Philadelphia number 4 is because I feel like the secondary is being exposed. The offense hasn't gotten to where they were last year, but I think the secondary has been exposed. Quarterbacks are putting up 300 yards on them. Is not looking all that great for Philadelphia. I know they're 5-0. I think they are overrated 5-0. That's just my personal opinion. Number 3, I got Buffalo. Buffalo beat Miami, but I still got Miami in front of them, which my number 2 is obvious now because it's not, but now it's going to be Miami. So Buffalo's at 3. I still think Miami's still better, even though Buffalo beat them, but I think the next game, Miami wins. And if they see each other in the playoffs, I got Miami winning again. So right now, Buffalo's 3, Miami's 2. Track and field.
Track and field.
And you know how hard
you call Miami track and field. That's what we're
track and field, man. Like they just said go and they just gone. It's like how you supposed to defend that? And the way Mike McDaniel is scheming up stuff and using this quick motion that I mentioned a few weeks ago. How do you defend that? That's hard. That's not easy. So Miami's number 3. Number 2. And then number 1, I got San Francisco.
Yeah.
What more can I say?
Yeah. Yeah, I like your list, Brandon. I feel like I guess I could do mine. Maybe it's a second to do mine now. Detroit, if it was a top 7, I would say Detroit. Because number 1, I think Detroit can beat Dallas right now.
Of course, I agree.
And they play that physical style of football that Dallas don't like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they can definitely beat Dallas. Number 1 got San Fran only because the starting quarterback has not lost a game yet as a starter. There's no in a stout defense. You can't argue with that. I think I had Buffalo 2. They're a well-rounded team. Miami's there as well. The Chiefs they always start slow. Right now, they're a contender. I know these rankings will change as the season goes on. This is not my picks as far as how the season is going to end.
Right,
right
course.
No,
now.
this is top 5 after week
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably do a top 10 after week 10. We'll do a top 10 on after week 10.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the Eagles at 5 because they've been getting wins. I just like them, but I mean they've been winning, they've been balling, they've been doing their job. Haven't lost yet, played tight games, but they're performing. So that's what it is to me.
Okay. E.
Okay, so all right. So for mine, I'm gonna do the countdown, right? I'm gonna start at the bottom. I agree with you, Brandon. I have Detroit as my number 5 team because
Okay.
anybody who says something different does not watch the Detroit Lions play. And we've been high on them for the last couple of years. We watched them grow and get better, and they're continuing to get better. They're
Yes.
starting to beat those teams that's supposed to beat, and they still giving hell to the teams that they're beating teams that are evenly matched with them. And
Yes.
now they're starting to give hell to teams that are supposed to be better than them.
Mhm.
Detroit is playing with their hair on fire. Those injuries are going to be a concern. That may hold them back from going as far as they need to go. But right now, they're the 5th best team in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yep.
Number 4, I have the Chiefs.
Okay.
The people are not really, they're really discounting the loss of Eric Bieniemy as nothing, and the loss of a lot of these skill positions. These receivers, we know Andy Reid's good with receivers. Let's not hate right there. We're not going to do that. But we have to admit that this core of receivers that Patty Moe has is not on the caliber of what he has before, and they're struggling with that a little bit. They're
Yes.
still the Chiefs. They are still the champs, but it will be negligent to not recognize that they're struggling a little bit in some aspects. Teams that they're supposed to roll, they're struggling to beat. And hell, Detroit beat them, even though I have them ranked lower than Kansas City. Detroit beat them. So, number 3, I have the Miami Dolphins. Again, Mike McDaniel is just Kyle Shanahan with more swag. Like he just does it different. It's that Miami style of the way they do things. They're literally track and field. The A-chain injury, it's not going to be a big deal because Jeff Wilson's coming back, and they still got Raheem Mostert and several other backs. They still have a track team. They're the 3rd best team. My 2nd best team is the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, I understand they've been struggling, same way KC has, but here's the thing: they are still undefeated, and I can't discount that. Yes, they're struggling, but they have not lost. They have not lost.
Okay.
Now, the number 1 team is, I think we have a consensus between the 4 of us, is the San Francisco 49ers. Not because I'm a fan of the team, because y'all know I'm harder on the 49ers than anybody else. But right now, they are dismantling teams. They're averaging over 30 points a game. The defense is getting stronger, and the schedule is looking pretty favorable for them. And if barring injury, they could go on a run. But that being said, it always happens. There's going to be a trap game somewhere. There's going to be some team that we pick as a stone cold lock for San Fran to beat, and they just
my only issue with your list, Eric, is if y'all play the Eagles, I think y'all get them by 17 to 20. If I'm being honest,
at this
Agreed.
point, I think we
Agreed.
could. At this
Agreed.
point, I think
and that's
we could.
why I can't put them at number 2. Like
My
they've
issue
been
is,
struggling against a lot of regular teams. That's my only thing.
and you make a good point with that. My issue with that, if we played them right now, yeah, I think we could beat them. But we play them way in December, and a team that plays a style that we played, there's going to be some injuries, and that's what concerns me. We'll just have to see when it happens. Hopefully, cross fingers, knock on wood, there are no significant injuries, and we get to play them with their best against our best, and we're going to settle this once and for all because we didn't have a quarterback when we played them in the NFC Championship. So we're going to put all of the nonsense to bed, and we're going to see what's going to happen. If they're better than us, hey, they're better than us. I'm not going to be like Dallas and be making they're not as good as – no. If they kick our ass, I'm going to say they kicked our ass, period. But I still feel like we're a better team at this point. San Fran does struggle against mobile quarterbacks, though. That's an issue, which segues me into my picks for the weekend, and we're gonna end the show. So last week I went 8-6 because there were some games that I didn't see coming. The Texans almost had the Falcons and they lost. That hurt my heart. Did not see the Colts beating the Titans. Didn't see that coming. I didn't see the Ravens losing to the Steelers either. Those are the ones that really kind of hurt me. And oh my God, the Packers losing to the Raiders. Like what the heck? So that kind of messed me up. But I'm still above 500. That's the plan. I'm gonna stay above 500 the rest of this season. So the first game of this week, I have Denver versus Kansas City. Kansas City is going to murk Denver.
Yeah.
They're going to murk Denver.
It's only a matter of time before Russ Wilson's out of Denver. Next.
Yeah. I have the Ravens over the Titans.
Yeah.
Ravens gonna bounce back because they feeling some type of way about that loss to the Steelers. They kind of had them, and the Steelers pulled away at that last minute. I think the Ravens are a better team than the Titans. I think they have a better quarterback, obviously a better quarterback than the Titans, and they're better coached. So I have the Atlanta Falcons over the Washington Commanders. Atlanta's at home. I'm starting to realize they when they're at home, they play some of their best football, and I don't know if Sam Howell is it right now. He's got to show me something. And the defense is not as good as advertised. We learned that about a couple of teams' defenses this past week. You know, Dallas's defense and Washington's defense. I got the Vikings over the Bears. I was tempted to make that my Stone Cold lock.
That's gonna be a good one.
I was tempted to make that my Stone Cold lock, but I feel like Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 350 or something like that.
Now,
he will. That'll mean
they'll still find a way to lose.
Yeah, that'll mean that's a lock.
Hold on. Hey, question for you. Justin Jefferson's out for 4 weeks. Does that change anything for you?
I still like the Vikings over the Bears, but
wow.
The Bears have a coach.
He's out 4 weeks now. You sure?
Yeah, I still like the Vikings over the Bears.
This dude,
and if I'm wrong about it, there's a difference between me and a lot of other people. I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Oh no, I know you will. I'm just saying, like, I'm giving you a chance to change your mind.
Yeah, no. I'm still going to Vikings over the Bears. Yeah. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals over the Seahawks as well. I think the Cincinnati started slow and they're starting to gain ground and starting to get a little bit better. It's going to be an interesting matchup. That game I definitely want to watch because the Seahawks have a very good core of cornerbacks.
Yes.
And Cincinnati has a very good core of receivers.
You like Woolen. You like Woolen.
I love Tariq Woolen. I wish he was on my team. I hate that he plays.
They got DBs. They got DBs.
Tariq Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
These guys got a secondary for your team.
They have a secondary.
They said Witherspoon is already so far within first 4 or 5 weeks.
They are not the Legion of Boom, but they are good.
They said he's already being talked about for DPOY.
I can see that.
He was first team All Pro last season.
I can see that.
They're saying they already like, yo, he's something else again.
So it's going to be interesting to watch these receivers for Cincinnati who are fantastic against these young corners for Seattle who are fantastic.
Now, I tell you what, T. Higgins missed this past Sunday's game, so we'll see if he plays this coming week.
We'll see. I think he'll play. He'll be up for this one. I think he'll be up for that challenge, and they're going to need him. They are
going to need him.
But I still have Cincinnati over Seattle. Cincinnati's at home. I think they're gonna do something. Give me the Niners over the Browns. There's speculation that Deshaun Watson may not play. PJ Walker may start. PJ Walker ain't no slouch. But the Browns defense is very good. It's underrated.
Yeah, it is. I will give you that.
PJ Walker ain't no slouch, but it takes a lot to beat the daggone Niners.
And remember, they're missing Nick Chubb too. So
it takes a lot to beat the Niners, man. So
yeah, I recognize that. I'm looking at possible trap game after that high off of beating Dallas, but
I hear you ain't gonna be the Browns though.
Yeah,
it could be.
But I'm gonna tell you now, if Brock Purdy has the type of game he had against Dallas that he had against Arizona, we really got to seriously start talking about MVP because the Dallas's defense and then the Browns defense, who's like, I think top 3 in the league right now.
Yes,
If
yes.
Purdy has a great game against them, we got to start talking because he's doing it to good defenses. He's not
Yeah.
doing this to guys who are just, boo-boo the fool. So, but I still like the Niners over the Browns. Give me the Fins over the Panthers. This is my stone cold lock.
Oh, it has to be.
Oh yeah.
That's my stone cold lock.
Has to be.
The Fins will beat the Panthers.
I might bet on that one actually.
Yeah,
the Fins are at home.
keep up.
They're at home. The track meet, they're gonna have to start the pistols out. Let's go. Is what it's gonna be. Give me the Jags over the Colts. I think the Jags are starting to gain ground.
Anthony Richardson is I think supposed to miss 4 weeks too.
Anthony Richardson's supposed to miss 4 weeks. I like Gardner Minshew, but he is not ready for what Jacksonville is going to throw at them at that pass rush. The Jacksonville can generate.
Yes.
This one was a pick'em. This next one, my pick'em game is the Saints at the Texans. Gun to my head, I'm going with the Saints. Gun to my head. But don't be surprised if Houston pulls us out. CJ Stroud is starting to get much, much better. He's looking like probably the first Ohio State quarterback that looks like he's worth a damn in a long time. Okay.
That is a long time.
Yeah, he's probably the first one in a long time to look like he's worth a damn, and he's really starting to pull it together. However, that being said, I think the Saints gonna pull this one out. It'll be a close one, but it's a pick 'em. It could go either way. Wow, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I like the Raiders over the Patriots. That's the first time I picked the Raiders this year. Jimmy Garoppolo leads the league in interceptions right now. He's like, but there's still Josh Jacobs, and it's still Max Crosby. So, and the Pats they really going through it. However, that's 1-1s can go the other way because Belichick might start actually coaching because he's hearing all the chirping on media right now talking about is he a fraud? So he might pull something out. I don't know, but right now I like the Raiders. Give me the Lions over the Bucks. I believe in the Lions. Honestly, the Lions scare me more than other teams do. Because just their style of play. They are blue. They just like the city. They blue collar, they rough, and that's how they play football. And it's like, wow, you don't want to run up on them. You don't want to see the Lions in the dark alley. Give me the Rams over the Cardinals. Cooper Kupp is back. Puka Nacua is balling. Tutu Atwell is coming along as well. I don't think they have enough guns to hold these guys down unless they can get a good pass rush on Matt Stafford and bust him in the mouth and force him to throw 3 or 4 interceptions. Because Matt Stafford, in my opinion, is Dak Prescott. Honestly, when it comes to just turning the ball over, you just got to catch him. He throws them, you got to catch him. He'll throw at least 4 a game. You just got to catch him. But I still like the Rams. I still like the Rams over the Cardinals. Give me the Eagles over the Jets. The Jets have got to run the ball if they want to have a shot at this. They got to Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook it to death to take the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands.
They just lost Elijah Vera Tucker.
They have got to run the ball if they want to have a chance in this. But I still like the Eagles over the Jets. Give me the Bills over the Giants. Actually, that could be a stone cold lock right there. Josh Allen on Josh Allen, and let's just be honest, the Giants flat out suck. Like, honestly, at this point, I feel like Georgia could beat the Giants. Honestly, like it's that bad. That could be another stone cold lock, and then Bills over Giants, and I look for Dallas to bounce back. Because this is their cycle. Y'all know this is their cycle. They suffer a really bad loss, and they beat the brakes off of whoever they play the next week. That's what they do. And Brandon Staley is the coach of the Chargers.
Okay.
So give me KC, Ravens, Atlanta, Vikings, Bengals, Niners, Fins, Jaguars, Saints, Raiders, Lions, Rams, Eagles, Bills, Cowboys.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that was another week of Just a Fan Podcast. We are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. You can follow us on Twitter, IG, TikTok. Matter of fact, we got some new videos up on TikTok by Eric and a couple by me. And you can follow us on IG, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Yes, Facebook, IG, Twitter, TikTok. Also check out our Facebook account right now. We have some polls up there that Eric had posted, so check them out. I think they expire, if not tomorrow, then Thursday. Okay.
Also, we had a lot of new viewers tonight, and thank you.
Yes.
That we hadn't seen before. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your views. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and you like this video, please.
And also
tell a friend about us.
And share the video with other people too. So, hey, look, the comments were hot. The views were hot. We appreciate all that. Trust me. You can also listen to us on Google, Apple, Spotify podcasts. Down below, Steve. Steve is the music producer of the show. If you don't believe me,
No, I did one song, the theme song.
The theme song.
if you don't believe me, I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me just show you real quick. So, yeah, Steve is the music producer of the show, okay? That direction. Pando 316, the defensive-minded guy of the show. Coach Williams.
42-10 ain't no fluke.
I'm about to put you in the green room. Anyway,
Michael Parsons, shut up. Go ahead.
Anyway, I am the football mind, the NFL encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs the show. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. Peace.